What I'm doing here is I'm making the sleeves for the urethane upper control arm bushings. And this is one case where I could have done it in the 3-jaw, but it's actually quite a bit nicer to be able to do it in the collet closer. The collet closer is a lot easier to just push and pull the arm to get it to lock up and release. There's not as much mass. It's just nice. I like it. So I have it set so that my stop here, I set that. My G30, I actually set about 30 thou in. Okay, so then that way when the first tool comes in and shaves that off, it shaves it to 0. If I set it at 0 on the rough end, burrs and stuff like that may not register quite as accurately on this. And then I would have to sit there and do the math, basically, when I set up. This is all in conversational. Not 100% conversational. Some of it is edited G-code by hand, telling it, which M1s I want, which ones I don't, that kind of thing. If I want this to be 1.75 long, and this is 0, and I shave 30 off, then I got to know to remember to go back in and tell it, no, I want it negative 1.78. Okay. So this is nice. It's easier. I've been drilling with a 33/64 drill bit. I ordered several of them, so I have a bunch. The 1/2 inch just skim cuts the inside and doesn't leave it nice and even. So rather than a boring bar, the drill it's nicer and easier. I don't have to worry about chipping carbide tips and that stuff from an interrupted cut because there is a welded seam on this tubing. So I have it set up so that it does a chamfer, and faces it again 1/1000ths in, just basically to rub off any burr that the chamfer might have caused. Then it pauses for a minute so I can, it does an M1. It leaves the spindle rotating. I don't see any reason to shut it off and turn it back on, so I just let it go. I shut off the M5. I semicoloned out the M5. So then I'll change out the tool to the Nicole Micro Cut Mini System. I love it. I need to buy some more of these inserts just to make sure I don't run out. Since it's so narrow, it's 40 thou. It just slices in there like butter. I'm running in at 1 thou per rev. Okay, so then once the drill comes out, it goes back to the G30, way the hell out of the way. That gives me a chance to, and I'll show this, but I'm explaining just in case I need to, because the noise will be too bad to audio over. Anyway, I can deburr the inside edge, I can file the outside edge, and then I can also Scotch-Brite to get most of this off on the finish now. And that makes it easier. I Scotch-Brite it again after doing the second side. It just makes it a whole lot easier and comes out nice. This one will catch any flaws if I have to do sandpaper or something like that. That'll just make it nicer. So I'm going to run through at least 1 or 2 of these, and then I think I'm going to stop and show you what I'm doing for the back side, the second side. If I could find my depth stop for the 5C collets, I know I bought one. I can't figure out where they're at for right now. So I'm just doing it manually, and I'm just giving it a chamfer with the file that's pretty close to the chamfer I'm making on the front side here, the first side, and deburring it, and then it goes in the thing, and then it'll get spun on the manual lathe to do the final Scotch-Brite and call it finished. Let's get going here. There's not enough of a cut here, and this insert handles its cut easily, so I don't worry about turning on the coolant. I will run the coolant for the drill, and I'll run the coolant for the parting tool. I could do it when I do the other deburring and that stuff, but I just changed the tool now. just in case there's a little burr. They always tend to get a burr. I don't know. Okay, so that's one down. So it's real easy to just pop the collet closer and start it again. Just got to remember to change the tool back to 201. So just as a note here, obviously the spindle bore is hollow and chips can get blown out the end here. So there's my Schar's chip guard, and you can see the drill chips, the chips from the drilling there that get blown through there. I could get more aggressive with the drill, but the thing is then I don't get the little broken chips. I get long stringy ones trying to come back out toward the coolant. And considering how deep the hole is, I would have to peck it to break them off. So rather than run, like 10 or 12 thou per rev, I'm running 8. Okay, and that still allows me to break off the chips. And so that's what the backside looks like. Easy enough. So I'm gonna finish this tube. So I'm just gonna throw these in here, and then I'll pull them back out and do the second side, and I'll record that. It's a 2-minute cycle time, according to the screen there. On the slowest part. Alright, so to do the backside, that should be the, that piece isn't long enough, so it's scrap. Which means it'll get saved for several years until I realize that, man, I just don't have any use for it. So the ones that already have the one side done, I just put them in. Well, let me blow that out for a second, because that seems to be yeah, there was a big ball in the tube there. Okay, so these just get put in, it doesn't matter. I'm not using the tools, I'm just using the spindle. I just set it for 1,000, that's what I have it set on the other side, so I'll basically just be starting and stopping the spindle. I'll come in, do that. I'll do that heavy enough it'll mimic the chamfer on the other side. And that's it. Then I stop it. Both sides good to go, and it should be 1.75. Oh, I can't tell if it's focused or not, but anyway, it's close. Alright, basically I just put that there. I spin the quill in. Whatever pressure it hits with is good enough. Only got a couple left, so of course I knocked it off the backside.